So how long does it take to go from 25% body fat down to 15% body fat where you can start seeing your abs? Well, let's take Joe for example. Joe weighs 200 pounds or 90 kilograms and he is at 25% body fat. He wants to get leaner, it's his first time doing this, and he's 100% committed to the journey. So what's realistic? How many weeks and months does a guy like Joe really need to transform his physique? Well, the first step we need to take is look at his body composition and his lean weight. And in order to do that, we're going to take his 200 pounds minus 25% body fat, and that's going to bring us to 150 pounds or 68 kilograms, which is his fat-free mass. That is how much he would weigh if he was at 0% body fat. Now, if we add 15% body fat, Joe's target weight is 176 pounds or 80 kilograms. So basically, Joe needs to lose 24 pounds or 11 kilograms to get to 15% body fat. Now the question is, how fast can he lose those 24 pounds or 11 kilograms? And if we take an average weight loss rate of a pound to pound and a half a week, or half a kilo to 3/4 of a kilo of fat loss a week, well, that is 16 to 24 weeks or 4 to 5.5 months of dieting. Now, most people can lose a bit faster, especially in the beginning, if you increase your step count and if you're hitting that like button consistently to burn more calories. But if you've never seen your abs before, and if this is your first time getting down to 15% body fat, there are 3 really important things you need to consider. First, your diet, training, and sleep must be really on point to make sure that you're only losing fat. All this math assumes that you're not losing any muscle. For example, if Joe decides to go a bit YOLO and he's not doing any weight training, he's only doing cardio, his diet is a little bit off, he's under eating protein, his sleep is a little bit off as well, he's going to be losing muscle. So his goal weight is no longer going to be 176 pounds or 80 kilograms. He might need to go down to 170 pounds or 77 kilograms to reach 15% body fat. It could be even lower. And these mistakes happen all the time. People quickly lose 25 pounds just to realize they need to lose another 15-20 pounds because they still have a belly left and they find out they had a lot less muscle than they thought they did. This is why it's never a good idea to do a low-calorie crash diet and ignore weight training, because you will lose muscle. Now, on the other hand, if you are doing things the right way, as I mentioned on this channel, you're focusing on building muscle, especially as a beginner, you can gain a couple of pounds. Well, that means that you need to lose less total weight to get to 15% body fat, so you're going to get there faster and have a much better physique at the end of it. So it does go both ways, and it pays off to be smarter and not try to rush the process. Now, the second thing that you also need to consider is the accuracy of your initial body fat percentage estimate and the fact that you could be carrying more body fat. Most people who believe they're between 20 and 25% body fat, when they do something more accurate like a DEXA scan or a bod pod, find out they're 30% body fat, and in many cases even higher, and that does change the numbers quite a bit. For example, in Joe's case, if he's at 30% body fat at 200 pounds instead of 25%, well, now his goal weight goes down all the way to 165 pounds or 75 kilograms. So he has to lose another 11 pounds or 5 kilos to get to 15% body fat, which means more months dieting and staying in a calorie deficit. So when you're estimating your initial body fat percentage, be very careful with smart scales and in-body machines in the gym, because those can be very generous and put you at a much lower body fat percentage than you actually are. And an honest assessment in the beginning is really important, especially when you're doing this for the first time. You want to have the right expectations, you want to have a precise timeline instead of getting disappointed halfway through the journey. Now, the third thing you definitely want to consider when you're planning your weeks and months and how long it's going to take you are life interruptions. Because if you look at the last 6 months of your life, I'm sure there were situations that you couldn't have anticipated, but that still got in the way of your habits. And plus, there are also going to be vacations, some holidays where you might want to proactively get out of a calorie deficit and go into more of a maintenance for a couple of weeks. So even though in a perfect world, on paper, the diet could be 4 months, it ends up being 6 months or 7 months. So it's important that we have a little bit of slack and some buffer there to absorb some of these mistakes and some of these things that we simply can't predict. And in general, when you're going from 25% body fat down to 15% body fat, it's probably going to take you longer than you think and definitely longer than you want. And this is why I would say the number one thing to cultivate is patience, especially when you're new to the journey and you're doing this for the first time. And it's critical that you measure success based on progress and how much you've improved compared to your starting point. So it's you versus you. That way you're enjoying the process and you're not obsessing about how long it's going to take you. You're not obsessing about what social media says you should look like or what some random influencer said you should do. It doesn't matter. You dictate your criteria for success. You're not comparing yourself after 6 months on your journey with some guy who's been doing this for 10 years. At the end of the day, all of us, we can only be the best version of ourselves. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. We are unique. Focus on your own journey, beat your previous self, improve yourself, and that's really where you're going to find the most happiness and enjoyment in this process. And let's also not forget that dieting is a skill, which means that getting lean for the first time, whether it's to 15% body fat or 10% body fat, is the hardest. And that's because you don't know that much about your body yet. With experience, you're going to learn a lot more about your ideal calories, macros, which foods keep you fuller, weight fluctuations, how to make decisions in tough social settings, and most importantly, how to bounce back quicker after slip-ups. All these are things that improve with practice, and that's what makes getting lean and staying lean so much easier with experience. The other thing that's going to make it easier for you is making sure you hit that subscribe button below, enable notifications by hitting the bell icon. Details for coaching if you want to work with me on your journey are in the description below, leaving another helpful video here for you at the end. So check out the video, and I'm going to see you right there.